Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Wicca, our next part. The four elements, four states of matter, I suppose. As we say, everything has to be symbiotic in balance when we do magic and cast circles and such. We have to be balanced on every aspect. Please remember, firstly, this is Wicca for Wiccans. Secondly, I am not a Wiccan. I don't practice Wicca. Thirdly, this is just what I have studied and learnt through the years because it is something that I have looked at and studied. And believe it or not, I even have I think 3 diplomas in it. Not that that actually makes a difference, guys. So don't think that because it doesn't. I did it for my benefit because I like to have something to show for all the work that I've done. I think it's brilliant that we can sit and research and learn about all these different paths, etc. But I'm a bit odd, and if I'm going to put some really good research into it and some really hard work into it, I like to have something to show for it to end, and that might be I think I'm a little bit selfish for that, but no, it's just the way I am. I do. I really enjoy learning, but I really enjoy learning very hard, putting the hours in, and then getting something afterwards to say, yay, you did it. I think that's a child in me, probably is. Please understand that you can read many books out there. You can reach out to professional Wiccans and they will help you. Not everyone wants to follow the same path, so please know this is your choice. Your path is your choice and yours alone. And feel free to look around, research yourself, find any information you can. The best thing to do when searching for a path, if you're a little lost, research. Research, research, and research. It really is. Because I think when we find the correct path, or when we feel at one with ourselves on that path, then we know that's right for us. It's a feeling that you get with inside yourself. That being said, we're going to get into the next part, which is the 4 elements and the 4 states of matter. So obviously elements, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, Now, they are the 4 basic elements of magic. We know this, we've discussed this. They're sacred to the Hindu goddess Shakti, who embodies the concept of energy, just so you know. So you can use Shakti if you choose. All the rituals, no matter what, when you're doing spell work, ritual work, you really do need all the elements. You are obviously spirit. You are the spirit. So this is why you must be in the right state of mind, because the last thing you want to do is bring that spirit energy in and it not be quite balanced, because then the spell or the ritual, that'll be off balance too. And ideally we want to make sure that we are focused very well. Salt, earth and the dwarfs. Incense, air and the sylphs. Candles, fire, salamanders. Water is obviously water and the undines or undines, it depends how you pronounce it. When doing the rituals as well, it depends. So some count themselves as spirit and say I as they stand in the middle. Now others, especially if we look at the early Wiccan practices, they will touch the ground for earth, Mother Earth, and they will reach the sky for Father Sun and Grandmother Moon. That's how they do it. The earth it's very physical, isn't it? It's solid, it's stable, reinforcing. It's a way to heal the body, attract wealth, bring stability in home, family, relationships. It's all about strength and structure. It's the bones of our body. It's the very existence of our physical self. So it's our physical body that is very much connected to the earth. Do you remember when I told you that my path was a rose path? And within our incantation, as we rise, we always say we are given form by the land, because we are. Our physical connects us to the physical land, the earth. It's our bones, it's our structure, it's just the way that things are, you know. You will see this as an upside down triangle with a line 3/4 of the way down nearer to the point if you want to look at it on an alchemical scale. The air being the triangle that is the right way around, the line through it is at the top near the point, and that's for its alchemical marking. It's for our intelligence, it's intellectual, isn't it? It's transforming. It's all about communications within ourselves, communicating the different energies, the different auras, communicating with other people, clarifying. It's about divination and breathing. It carries and conveys feelings, it carries and conveys words. And it's also about travel too, because obviously some people do astral travel. Then we have our water. The water is a triangle upside down, but no line. That's its alchemical, you know, if you want to look at it on that scale. And this is very flowing, isn't it? It's all about our emotions, as we know, and it's a process of flowing, but flowing at complete balance. It's adapting. It's also very reflective, a way for us to look within inside ourselves and change the way we feel. It's all about friendships, reconciliations, you know, loss and grief. It's a very much where we express sorrow and joy, tears in both ways, regardless. We can have tears of joy, we can have tears of sorrow, but it's always free flowing like Mother Earth's waters. That's why water is our emotions. You know, think of Mother Earth and all her water. Well, what do we have running through our body? Quite a large amount of it. Water. Connections there. And then we have our fire. The fire is the triangle the right way around, no line on an alchemical scale. This is about our spirit. This is the will and the strength that we have inside us. It's passion, ecstasy. However, it is also violence. Just thought I'd add that bit. Yes, this is where violence comes from. It comes from the fire within our soul. It's akin to the process of being quite intense. It transmits as well, and it can create, but it can destroy. It can do both, you know. It's light and the warmth of the soul. And obviously these magical creatures that are the elementals live in each of these elements, as I have taught you before. Fire and air are the masculine. They would be, so if we look at a yin and yang scale, they would be the yang. Fire and air, masculine. It's all about rising up like phoenix from the ashes as such. Earth and water are feminine. They flow downwards, and that is the yin. You would have to invoke the guardians. It could be in any way. There are many ways to invoke the guardians. There really, really is. You can do a simple one. You can hail all the watchtowers if you know what you're doing. I do have a post somewhere where all the watchtower sayings are for the Wiccan way. But if I need to put another one up, then I'll do it separate to this, and I'll pop it as a separate sort of video. If you want to do it very simple, you can do it like this. All hail to the watchtower of the east, the element of air. I do summon and call you forth to guard and protect this circle. Come and join me now. And then obviously you would move to fire. All hail to the watchtower of the south, the element of fire. I do summon and call you forth to guard and protect this circle. Come and join me now. All hail to the guardians of the west, the element of water. I do summon and call you forth to guard and protect this circle. Come and join me now. And then obviously the last one. All hail to the watchtower of the north, element of earth. I do summon and call you forth to guard and protect this circle. Come and join me now. Obviously, as you do this, face each direction. Use a compass so you make sure you're aligning with where it's pointed as well on the actual earth. There's a lot of people that set things up and they just do it like you would be looking at it, but that's not the way to do it. You get a compass, you'll be able to find the exact point. It just brings more balance and stability to a ritual, that's all. Obviously, when you finish, you do have to say hail and farewell to the guardians, the watchtower of the east, south, west, and north. Go on your way with love, light, and blessings, and harm none. That's the one thing that you really must do in Wicca, especially the harm none bit, because that's what, it's one of the most beautiful things that they have is that they don't wish to harm any. I think that's really cool. If we look at our salamanders, our sylphs, our undines, and our gnomes, let's look at salamanders. They resemble white, hot, or red worms or lizards. They are spirit critters that resemble the coals they play in, and the flames whose heat they ride as the fire licks the logs. A destructive form of the salamander occasionally manifests itself throughout ferocious fires, building fires, wildfires. It will resemble a triangular face made in the flames. Sylphs are of the air. They are light, very fairy-like creatures or entities that float, fly, and delight in riding the wind. They are on the air currents. They go forth with the air currents. You may see them floating about or mimicking dandelion wisps or insects. The undines, they are of water. They are slippery, silvery, and they are definitely iridescent creatures that your eyes may catch where the sun-dappled water flows. Undines prefer creeks that are in backwoods where you can't actually get access to unless you know where you're going. They prefer the uncharted places. This is why the witches call them the undines of the deep. And this is because they are deep, as in deep hidden. They ride ocean streams and currents. They can be like shooting rapids. They can be restless within that way. So the large waves and the flicking of the waves on the rock when it's crashing against it, that's where your restlessness comes into from the undines. Gnomes are of earth, troll-like, they're very plodding, but they're protective, and they do tend to love treasure. They live beneath fallen trees, stumps, anywhere on earth, like in roots, especially like the rotten roots that have been left sort of where animals have once denned. You'll find them there too, because they use it for shelter. Their skin, clothes, anything that they wear, all the garments really, they kind of match the flora and fauna and foliage of the forests in which they dwell. And this is because they have to blend in. So it's very important that they look like their surroundings, of course. If you want to have a consecration ceremony using the elementals, etc., you will need 2 white candles, an incense burner or some incense, sandalwood, chalices for earth and salt. Obviously, you will need some water. You'll need some protection oil, dragon's blood or sage. Now, when I say that you need the salt as well, what I mean is you need not just table salt, it's Himalayan salt and it needs to be blessed. You can bless it yourself under a full moon. Leave it under the full moon overnight and ask the moon to bless the salt. That's all you have to do to have your own blessed salt to use on your altars. It's very simple. With the chalice of water that you're going to be using, ideally you need to put a tablespoon of salt in it and stir. Make sure it dissolves in there so you have salt water. You want to hold your hands palm down above the salt water as you chant this invocation. Salt in water, by casting thee, no spell or unknown purpose be, except in true accord with me, and as my will, so mote it be. As you chant, feel the power of your words flowing like the Mother Earth's water flows. Generate it, chant it as much as you can until you literally feel it rushing through you, flowing through you into the chalice. Sprinkle the four corners of the room or the altar area with this water. As you are sprinkling, you can use the chant again if you wish, the salt water chant that I just told you. Once that's done, place your chalice back on the altar and light your incense. Sit at your altar and light your candles. Face your palms toward the candle, but at a distance. We don't want to be burning any fingers or hands, okay? At a distance. And chant the next chant. Creatures of fire, this charge I give. No evil in my presence live. No phantom, spook, nor spell may stay around this place, night or day. Hear my will addressed to thee, and my work, so mote it be. Once you feel the power of the elemental fire beings, you then need your oil to make, and this is going to sound bizarre, guys, because I don't do this in my path. I do spirals, just bear that in mind. But in this, you're going to put a cross with the oil at all the four corners, and then dab your brow, your third eye chakra, between the brows obviously, but slightly higher. And then place the oil in the centre, and you can do the same chant that you did with fire, but change it to air. And now this oily essence sphere, as do its great power to the air, attracting spirits of the light, bringing love both day and night. This charge is true and proper see, and as my will, so mote it be. Or you can do that one for air. And if you want to use the same chant, all you really need to do is change the air, obviously, to earth, fire, water, whatever. Now you can consecrate your altar. So you want your arms raised and palms facing forwards. You need to feel the power flowing, and it has to flow through you to purify and exercise this place of meditation and ritual work. It has to flow through you, through your hands, into the area. That's the idea. And as you're building power, elementals, spirits, gods of old, this altar fresh now behold. You all agree it's bound to me in peace and true serenity. I charge you to assist, ere more, the light and love shall be our store. And this place is perfect harmony, as my will, so mote it be. Do your ritual work, of course, now, and then you will need to close your circle, but dismiss the elementals too. You can dismiss like this. All elemental spirits, gods of old, gathered here, I thank you for help and participation. Now go in peace, back to your native habitats, and harm no one on your way. Thank you, elementals, and all who aid me always. Hail and farewell. And envision the place literally clearing. That is how you do a simple consecration of the altar. You only need those two elements. You need the other elements present on the table, but that's the way it's done in Wicca. You can, of course, add earth if you want and water by using the same chants, just replacing the names. However, it's not actually needed for this particular consecration because we need the spiritual side of things and then the purification side of things. So that's your fire and your air because you're consecrating it. the idea is to have all the four elements in the space and acknowledge that they're there, but you do not need to call on all four elements. It's just how it works. So I'm going to leave this part here, guys. I hope that you join me for the next part. Many blessings, love and light.